Hello everybody, welcome to my very first ever NHL 21 franchise mode gameplay. I am really excited to be making NHL content on my YouTube channel, and I thought it would be great as a first team for my franchise mode to be playing with the Calgary Flames. So that's what we're going to go ahead and be doing. Yep, this all looks good. Pacific Division. I'm not going to be playing with the divisions this year because the year is already over, and going into the future it just wouldn't make very much sense for us to be playing with the weird COVID divisions. I'm going to be playing with Fog of War on. Head coach edits lines, no GM firing, auto staff management because who wants to be hiring scouts and all that. So let's get into the NHL 21 Calgary Flames via GM mode. And we are, of course, going to be playing with salary cap on because turning off the salary cap is basically just like cheating mode. And I thought that it would be cool to use the Calgary Flames because the Flames have had a lot of trouble recently. This year they looked really pretty bad. Everyone was wanting them to make the playoffs. They thought that they had a chance, but then it did not turn out to be the case. Signing Jacob Markstrom did pretty much nothing for them. He had a really disappointing season, and his contract is not looking so great. So let's go ahead and look at the lineup. And it looks like we got Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm, Matt Tkachuk. Looks like their chemistry is actually pretty good. So that's a pretty good first line. I'd say that in real life, the Flames need to make some sort of big change because they just don't seem to be playing with very much passion out there on the ice. And one of these big guys, like Sean Monahan, Elias Lindholm, and Johnny Gaudreau, seems like they are, one of them is most likely going to get traded sometime soon. But who knows? Second line, not looking that great. Sean Monahan, I mean, he's good second line center, but I don't see him being a first line center. So he might be someone we might be willing to trade pretty soon. Mikhail Backlund, he's got a pretty crazy contract for his overall 5.35 at 4 million years, not 4 million years, 5.35 million for 4 years left. That is way too much for a 31-year-old, 83-year-old overall player. So we might want to trade him. Dylan Dubé, I think he's fine on that second line. Brett Ritchie, Derek Ryan, 33 years old. He's a guy who might not have very much value, but I feel like we could probably trade him. Mandria Payne, Lucic also has a really bad contract, but let's check out the defense. Hanifin, Tanev, really good chemistry there. Giordano Anderson, let's see how this chemistry changes. Looks like it's all good. And Husso Valimaki, Oliver Shillington. Valimaki always seems to simulate really well in this game and grow to a really high overall. As you can see, he's rated high top 4 defenseman, so we definitely want to be holding on to him because he's probably going to turn out to be one of the team's future defensemen, one of the top 2 guys at least. That's what I was thinking. Nesterov, Gaudin, Simone. Gaudin is the only guy who I think is fine because he's got that medium top 9 potential, and he's 23 years old, so we might be able to get to like a 78 overall, but probably not. And then goalie's got Markstrom and Domingue. Luis Domingue actually started a baking YouTube channel, which I thought was pretty funny. I looked at it, and it was all just him making a bunch of interesting breakfast foods. I actually like Luis Domingue. He played pretty well for Arizona, but his career has kind of taken a turn recently. He's not been that great. So let's hope that he can play good for us this season. Jacob Markstrom, yeah, he was having trouble this year for sure. I'm not sure if he simulates differently in the game, but I would hope so. Garrett Sparks, Zagadulin, Garrett Sparks, neither of those guys really have much potential for the future. Nordstrom, Phillips, Lievo. Yeah, no, there's really not any super great prospects except for Adam Ruzicka right over here. And I would say that Adam Ruzicka could be a bottom 6 guy, but most likely he's gonna kind of top out in the high 70s, lower 80s. So might not be worth holding on to. Maybe we might want to trade him. Michael Stone. Now, the interesting thing about Michael Stone is he looks like he's a top 6 defenseman, but he's not in the NHL right now. And he's signed to a 2-way contract, so we might be able to trade him as well for a better player. But either way, I think we should just get started off on the season. But first, let's just go ahead and fix this thing. They got the bathrooms rated low. Not sure if that's a roast on the Saddle Dome or not, but might be. Anyways, let's start simulating the season and see how things go. Alrighty guys, we're getting a few wins together right now, and looks like 5-2-2 is a lot better than I was expecting to be with this roster, but might be saying that too soon. Yeah, losing to the Sabres even. Kyle Palmieri for 3rd and 5th. It's kind of funny because Kyle Palmieri, they just traded, in real life, the Islanders just traded for Kyle Palmieri. And I don't see them really wanting to do this in real life. Of course they can't because it's past the trade deadline and his contract is ending at the end of this season. But honestly, I'm not all that interested in him. And he really only fits our power play lines, as you can see there. And he's an 82 overall. I might want to just hold on to my draft picks and skip this trade. All right, 5-7-3 after starting our season 5-2-2. Okay, so this is actually a trade which I might be willing to take, 3rd and Wolf for Calle Jarnkrok. I like Calle Jarnkrok because he has actually a pretty decent contract, 82 overall, $2 million per year, but he doesn't really fit any of our lines. That's the downside. Let's just see what he wants. Dustin Wolf, low starter goalie. I don't really see much potential in him, but maybe. And then Toronto Maple Leafs 3rd round pick in 2022. This is pretty much David Riddick. The Flames just traded David Riddick for this pick, so getting Calle Jarnkrok with it. Honestly, because he doesn't fit our lines, I don't think that we're gonna go ahead and make this trade go through, even though I really like Calle Jarnkrok and he's on a good contract. It's kind of funny because we're still in a playoff spot despite being 9-9-4. That just goes to show how bad the Pacific Division is, but we are going up against the 9-11-3 Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Let's go ahead and check out and see how some of our players are performing. So Johnny Gaudreau, 28 points, 22 games played. That's pretty good. Johnny Gaudreau is definitely a first-line player, and he's proving that. Kachuk, Elias Lindholm, that first line seems to be working pretty well. Second line, Monahan is doing okay. Derek Ryan outperforming himself. Sure, he's a -3, but that doesn't really matter if he's got 14 points in 22 games as a 79 overall 3rd line center. Noah Hanifin, Giordano. Chris Tanev, +8. That's a thing that I like to see. In real life, Chris Tanev has also been really good. Absolutely good acquirement from the Canucks. And it looks like Luis Domingue has played pretty decently. Jacob Markstrom hasn't been terrible, also hasn't been amazing, but yeah, pretty okay numbers from both goaltenders. Sean Monahan is sorry for how he's playing out there. Honestly, he's playing on the second line and he's throwing second line numbers, so I think he's doing fine. He's also an 86 overall, which is a little bit low for a first line center, so that is not what I wanted to see. He is wanting to do better, and that's apparent. So if he continues to have these doubts, we might want to be changing the lineup. But I think Elias Lindholm fits better on that first line because he gets a +3. -5 morale lost. That is not good because if a player's morale goes too low, then they actually start to get worse and have worse overall. So we want to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. And Yeah, 13, 14, 4. We're still just scraping our way as a very mediocre team throughout the league. We still actually have a chance at the playoffs, which is kind of funny. In almost every division out there, we wouldn't. And we're being offered another trade, Ryan Carpenter. I am not sure how interested I am in Carpenter, but let's just see how good he is. And since I'm playing with Fog of War, we don't really get to see the overall exactly how it would be. A lot of people don't like Fog of War, but I just like it because it's more of a guessing game. It's kind of fun. And honestly, Carpenter, he's playing 8 minutes a game. He's not very well scouted, which means that the Blackhawks aren't playing him very much, and he doesn't really have that much talent, probably. And that is way too much to be giving up for a guy like that. So I'm going to go ahead and decline this trade. Looks like the Dallas Stars are willing to give up Julius Honka, former first-round pick, good prospect. At least I believe he's a first-round pick, yeah. Honestly, I want to take him because Dallas just hasn't given him much opportunity, and I think that with the Flames, he might be able to get better. All right, we are currently being given the chance to pick up Gustav Forsling for free. He has a pretty decent contract. He fits all the penalty killing lines. I think that I'm going to just pick him up just as an AHL player. So I'm going to go ahead and claim him. And here we are at the All-Star break, 23, 23, and 5. Again, very mediocre team. I think that we might want to be making some changes. Looks like we are currently out of the playoffs. Not too unexpected, but let's go ahead and check out our team stats. So the Calgary Flames are not scoring very many goals. 2.82 goals for per game. That is not as good as you'd hope it to be. We got 144 goals on the season. 144 goals scored on us, 159 scored against. This is not good if we're allowing 3.12 goals against per game and 2.82 goals for per game. It's kind of surprising that we have such a neutral record. I would expect us to be more of a losing team. Our power play, not as good as it should be. Our penalty kill, not as good as it should be. So let's go ahead and see our lines and see if we need to change anything up. Gaudreau's still doing well on that first line, above a point per game. And let's go ahead and see what's wrong. First line, nothing wrong with it. Fourth line, but let's go to special teams. So we got Monahan. Whoa. What happened? Okay, Monahan is not happy with himself. I did not see that. I think that we might want to trade Monahan if this continues to be a thing. So let's go ahead and go on to the trade deadline thinking that we might trade Monahan. But yeah, I'll go ahead and put Elias Lindholm up there. And I'm going to just go ahead and keep simming up to the trade deadline. I wasn't expecting us to be a playoff team this season. And honestly, I think that the Calgary Flames, we need more pieces in order to build ourselves up to be that elite team we want to be. So I wouldn't have too much of a problem getting a higher draft pick this year so that we could do better in future seasons. But Brett Connolly for second and third and Wolf, I mean, honestly, Brett Connolly doesn't interest me that much, but let's go ahead and see. And I think he's a lower 80 overall player. I thought he was 83. But yeah, he's a fourth line player. You can tell because he's only got 7 minutes, 57 seconds per game. And doesn't really fit our team very well, so I'm not going to take that trade. But I think that a good trade might be for us to go ahead and give up Michael Stone. And this is the kind of trade that I was looking for, Mikhail Grigorenko. Mikhail Grigorenko, also a former first-round pick. He kind of disappointed, though, left to Russia and came back this year just because of COVID, I believe. But he's signed to a 1-year deal, and I am tempted to go ahead and take this because Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be a good team. Tampa Bay is going to be a good team. Honestly, a 5th-round pick for Mikhail Grigorenko, totally worth it because our fourth-line center is only 76 overall, and he's 81. So let's go ahead and take that. being offered another trade. Ryan Carpenter again, a second and a fourth in Carpenter. That might be a good trade. Ryan Carpenter doesn't interest me that much, but yeah, no, not going to take that. And we are winning a few games here. Dang, we're getting offered so many trades. McGinn for a seventh. Also a trade which is pretty good, actually, I think. McGinn, I think, is like a 79 overall. 81. That seems like something which could be totally useful for us. We don't know how well he fits the team, but honestly, a fourth for a fourth and then a seventh. Of course, they're going to be upgrading their fourth because we might be a worse team than Toronto, but 27, 24, and 5, really looking like we could be a playoff team, so I'm going to go ahead and take this trade. Another win against Tampa, one of the better teams in the league. Another win against Florida. Loss against Pittsburgh, that's not too big of a deal. Let's see, Arizona shootout loss, so we can still get the point. And this trade is basically just upgrading Wolf in a fifth to a fourth. Not really that interested in that. Kind of doesn't matter. But we are looking like we could be a playoff team. And I'm going to go ahead and keep our current trade block moving into the trade deadline and entering it. Marc-Andre Fleury is on the block. 36 years old. He's going to be dropping in overall pretty soon. Excuse me. Adam Pelech, totally an underrated defenseman in the league. He's played great for the Islanders. Merzlikins, Teus, Burns, Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm, and Ryan Suter. A lot of defensemen. All right, let's see. Carolina Hurricanes trade first round pick Stephen Matthews and Callanan for Matthias Ekholm. Everyone thought Matthias Ekholm was going to get traded at this year's deadline, but it didn't turn out to happen. I guess EA wanted it to happen, but honestly, there aren't very many players here who I am extremely interested in. So I might just not make any trades at the deadline because we could end up to be a bad team. We could not make the playoffs, and it would be kind of sucky for us to give up the future for the now if we don't really have that much of a chance to win. So I'm going to go ahead and exit the trade deadline. And all right, Ryan Ellis in a seventh for a first and Evan Bouchard in a second. That's a pretty big trade. Ryan Ellis is a good defenseman. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sim to the end of the season. We seem to be playing well recently. Let's see if we can make the playoffs. And yeah, we are actually in a playoff position right now. And we have been winning against some teams we probably should not be winning against. The Maple Leafs and the Golden Knights, two really good teams. See, we just got that win over the Jets as well. Win over the Columbus Blue Jackets 8-1, very impressive. And it's looking like we're actually probably going to be a playoff team, which is really great. Let's see how many points we can get. I am hoping to be a playoff team. 3-2 loss, 5-4 shootout, and we have clinched the playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and see who we play against. Let's go ahead and see. We are going up against the Vegas Golden Knights, a very good team in the NHL. Let's check out our stats and see how a lot of our players played. Johnny Gaudreau with 99 points, definitely redeemed himself from what he was in real life. Matt Tkachuk, also above point per game. Elias Lindholm, really good plus minus, but not the best in terms of points. Sean Monahan, honestly, he wasn't bad. I don't know why he was pissed off about his play. He's 86 overall again, so he's pretty happy. Even though it says he's neutral, 55 points for him is not too bad considering he's like a second line player in this game. And most of our players are pretty good. Dylan Dubé, minus 15. Mikhail Backlund, that line might need to be broken up. But yeah, Chris Tanev, plus 27, really good. And then let's go ahead and see how our goalies played. All right, Markstrom 907, Domingue 901, and looks like Markstrom played better at the end of the season because he was able to raise his save percentage from below 900 to 907 in just about a month. So that's always good to see. Let's go ahead on over to Vegas and see what they were like for the season, because we want to see what we're going to up against in the playoffs. So Leonard, really good stats, 915 save percentage. Oscar Donsk, 892. Oscar Donsk is actually really highly overall in this game, which I am surprised by. He hasn't played very many NHL games. But then let's go ahead and look at the Golden Knights lineup, and Pacioretty, 69 points. That's their highest point player. Mark Stone, Jonathan Marchessault. Honestly, this is not that impressive. Really, they don't have any players who have been a huge offensive powerhouse, and it looks like none of them have been insanely high plus minus either, except maybe Matthias Janmark. Besides that, most of their numbers seem to be kind of okay, not the best. Zach Whitecloud, pretty good defenseman. He's really good in real life. I think he's underrated in this game. I think he's like 79 overall in this game. He really should probably be more like 81, 82. But yeah, the Golden Knights, we might actually be able to win this series. We're going to go ahead and stop this episode now. And if you like this video, then please consider liking and subscribing. Stay tuned to my Calgary Flames NHL GM mode, because I will be going ahead and bringing the Flames to a Stanley Cup. We're going to be going through the 2021 playoffs in the next episode. And all of you guys have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.